The story of the Trojan horse represents one of history's most enduring tales of strategic deception. While the traditional narrative captures our imagination, archaeological evidence and historical analysis reveal a more complex reality behind this legendary event. I'm Edward, and today we'll examine what modern scholarship has uncovered about this ancient story, exploring evidence that transforms our understanding of both the myth and the historical events it may represent. The familiar version tells us that after 10 years of unsuccessful siege warfare, Greek forces constructed a massive wooden horse as an apparent offering to the gods. They then withdrew their armies, creating the impression of defeat and abandonment. The Trojans, interpreting the horse as a victory trophy, brought it within their city walls. Hidden Greek soldiers emerged during the night, opening the gates for their returning army and securing Troy's final conquest. This narrative has inspired artistic works, literature, and strategic thinking for millennia. Modern historians and archaeologists approach this story with methodical analysis rather than simple acceptance or dismissal. Their research suggests that while a literal giant wooden horse filled with soldiers likely never existed, the legend may preserve memories of actual historical events through symbolic storytelling. Archaeological excavations have established that Troy was indeed a real and significant ancient city. Located in what is now Turkey, it served as a major trading center positioned strategically between European and Asian trade routes. The city possessed substantial defensive walls and fortifications, confirming descriptions found in Homer's Iliad. This archaeological evidence demonstrates that Troy had both the wealth and defensive capabilities that would make it a worthy target for extended siege warfare. The question then becomes, how might such a well-defended city have actually fallen? Historians have developed several theories based on available evidence and understanding of ancient warfare practices. One compelling hypothesis connects the horse symbolism to seismic activity. Ancient Greek culture associated horses with Poseidon, who governed both the sea and earthquakes. Archaeological evidence indicates that Troy experienced frequent earthquake damage throughout its history. Greek forces may have exploited the chaos and structural damage caused by a major earthquake, timing their assault when the city's defenses were compromised by natural disaster. This theory would explain both the horse symbolism and the sudden vulnerability of an otherwise impregnable fortress. Another possibility involves interpreting the horse as a disguised siege engine. Ancient warfare commonly employed large wooden structures for breaching city walls, towers, battering rams, and other mechanical devices. Greek forces might have constructed such equipment while disguising its military purpose as a religious offering. This deception could have convinced Trojans to allow the device close to their walls, where it could be employed effectively against their fortifications. The concept of hidden soldiers within the horse may represent a different form of infiltration entirely. Throughout military history, cities have frequently fallen through internal betrayal rather than external assault. Greek forces may have succeeded by recruiting collaborators. Within Troy itself, citizens willing to open gates or sabotage defenses in exchange for promised rewards or protection. The soldiers hidden in the horse could symbolically represent these internal agents, working secretly to undermine the city from within. Recent archaeological findings at Troy support this interpretation. Excavations reveal extensive fire damage and destruction consistent with violent conquest, but also evidence of internal conflict and sudden organizational collapse. These patterns suggest that Troy's fall involved more than simple external military pressure. The evolution of this story through oral tradition provides another layer of understanding. Ancient narratives were transmitted through generations of storytellers, each adding dramatic elements to maintain audience engagement. Originally simple metaphorical account, perhaps, describing earthquake exploitation, siege engines, or internal betrayal may have gradually transformed into the elaborate tale of a massive horse concealing an army. Despite its likely symbolic nature, the Trojan horse story has maintained remarkable cultural persistence. This endurance reflects fundamental aspects of human psychology, particularly our fascination with intelligence triumphing over brute force. The narrative appeals to our appreciation for cleverness, strategy, and the satisfaction of seeing seemingly weaker forces overcome stronger opponents through wit rather than strength. Contemporary usage demonstrates this continued relevance. The term Trojan Horse appears regularly in contexts ranging from computer security to political strategy, indicating our ongoing recognition of deceptive tactics disguised as beneficial offerings. This linguistic persistence shows how ancient stories continue shaping modern understanding of strategic thinking and risk assessment. The symbolic interpretation of the Trojan horse doesn't diminish its historical significance. Instead, it suggests that the story preserves important truths about ancient warfare, natural disasters, political betrayal, and the complex factors that determine the rise and fall of civilizations. Understanding these possibilities provides insights applicable to contemporary challenges in areas such as cybersecurity, diplomatic relations, and strategic planning. The aftermath of Troy's fall presents equally fascinating historical questions. Archaeological evidence suggests that the city's destruction was unabsolute. Troy continued to exist in various forms long after its supposed final defeat. This continuity challenges simple narratives about complete civilizational collapse and replacement. Survivors of Troy's fall likely didn't remain isolated within their ruined city. Instead, they probably migrated throughout the Mediterranean region, carrying their cultural practices, technological knowledge, and historical memories to new locations. Rather than representing a simple ending, Troy's fall may have catalyzed broader cultural exchange and technological dissemination across the ancient world. Homer's epics present Trojans as noble adversaries facing tragic but inevitable defeat. However, historical analysis reveals Troy's role as a sophisticated commercial hub maintaining complex relationships with multiple civilizations. The conflict that destroyed Troy was likely part of broader struggles for control over lucrative trade routes and strategic resources, rather than the personal conflict described in mythological accounts. The Greek victory, while decisive, didn't resolve underlying regional tensions. Historical sources describe significant internal conflicts among Greek forces following their triumph, including power struggles, political instability, and violent disputes over territory and resources. Many Greek leaders who participated in Troy's conquest reportedly faced tragic fates upon returning home, suggesting that victory carried substantial long-term costs. This pattern reflects a broader historical truth about conflicts resolved through deception, betrayal, or excessive violence. Such victories often generate cycles of revenge, political instability, and social fragmentation that persist long after the original conflict ends. The Trojan Horse story, when understood in this context, offers lessons about the complex consequences of strategic decisions and the difficulty of achieving lasting peace through military conquest. The cultural impact of Troy's story extended far beyond its immediate historical period. Roman civilization, in particular, incorporated Trojan heritage into its foundational mythology. According to Roman tradition, Trojan survivors led by Aeneas established settlements that eventually became Rome itself. This genealogical claim provided Romans with a heroic origin story linking their empire to the legendary war, demonstrating how historical memories can be adapted to serve later political purposes. This Roman appropriation of Trojan heritage illustrates the blurred boundaries between historical fact and mythological interpretation. Legends like the Trojan horse function not simply as historical records but as cultural symbols expressing fundamental human concerns about courage, betrayal, cleverness, and the consequences of conflict. Contemporary culture continues drawing inspiration from Troy's story. Strategic thinking in military and political contexts frequently references Trojan horse tactics. Computer security professionals use the term to describe malicious software disguised as legitimate programs. Popular entertainment regularly adapts elements of the Troy narrative, demonstrating its continued relevance for audiences seeking stories about heroism, betrayal, and strategic thinking. These modern applications suggest that the Trojan horse story provides enduring value not necessarily through historical accuracy, but through its symbolic representation of timeless strategic and ethical dilemmas. The narrative encouraged recognition of hidden dangers, skeptical evaluation of apparent gifts or opportunities, and appreciation for the complex motivations underlying human conflicts. Ultimately, modern historical analysis doesn't destroy the Trojan horse legend, but enriches our understanding of it. By considering possibilities such as earthquake exploitation, disguised siege engines, internal betrayal networks, and oral tradition evolution, we gain deeper appreciation for both ancient historical realities and the psychological factors that shape cultural memory. The next time you encounter the Trojan Horse story, consider the layered meanings it may contain. Beyond entertainment value, it preserves insights about ancient warfare, natural disaster exploitation, political betrayal, and the complex human motivations that drive historical change. These concealed truths within legendary narratives offer understanding not only about ancient civilizations, but about persistent patterns in human behavior and strategic thinking that remain relevant today.